Becoming a United Kingdom registered nurse can be, a very exciting procedure, but you need the right information to get to your goal. On today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a very peculiar approach and pathway that you could take to become a United Kingdom registered nurse. If this interests you, then stick right there to the end of this video. Warning, is going to be a long detailed tutorial, but everything you need about becoming a United Kingdom registered nurse, you're going to find it on this video. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Nurse Precious. I am a triple licensed, double board certified registered nurse. I am practicing currently in the United Kingdom, but I am licensed in 2 different countries, in 2 different continents. That's the way I like to say it. So I'm excited to be in your face. I bring you education regards nursing, regards career development, regards our health and how to stay healthy, everything around that, empowerment, education. I talk about women's health, general health. I talk about nursing courses, tutorials, pathway, career development, everything in between. Of course, that should excite you, so stick still with me. Welcome to my space. Like, subscribe, share, and engage on all the content on this page. You are just in for a very good ride. So let's get right into today's video, talking about becoming a United Kingdom registered nurse. This is a journey I myself has taken few years back. Being originally a registered nurse from my home country, Nigeria. I began this journey. Things has changed a lot from then to now. The pathway has, changed a lot, and navigating it is a bit kind of more tougher right now. So I'm going to be talking about the self-sponsorship pathway. This is a peculiar pathway in which you don't need any job offer from an employer before you can sit for the OSCE. This means you can come and sit for the OSCE, which is the final qualifying exams to become a UK registered nurse. You can come and sit for this exam yourself, and the steps to do this is what we're going to be talking about today. First of all, what is self-sponsorship? So self-sponsorship is as simple as the English language, says it, sponsoring yourself. Usually to come to the UK as a nurse from any other country, you have to be sponsored usually by an NHS trust or by a private sector or whoever your employer is. But recently, there's been some stringent rules that has made things to change so much, and nurses are now taking on this pathway to achieve their dream of practicing wherever they want to practice. So self-sponsorship is technically the act of taking on the financial burden on your own self to sponsor yourself to sit for your final qualifying exams. Who is this for? So if you're watching this video and you're still a student nurse, well done, because you're taking in the right information. If you're aspiring to become a student nurse, well done, you're also on the right path. If you're already a graduate nurse, oh, absolutely wonderful. If you're already practicing, that is so awesome. Whatever category you find yourself in, I'm very sure that this information will be very useful to you. So having explain what self-sponsorship is, let's get right into the process. So what are the detailed process? So I'm doing a full class on this, and I'm gonna be going through my notes together with you. We're gonna be walking through this, and I will make sure you understand every point. So first of all, I will list out the possible process involved in self-sponsorship. First of all, you have to be a registered nurse in an eligible country. So you have to already have qualified and registered with your country's Board of Nursing as a registered nurse in your home country to be able to start registering on your pathway to practice as a nurse in any other country. That is the first thing you should take away from this video. So you have your license. That's number one. You should have your nursing practicing active license in your home country. So the next step is, when you've got your license, there is something called verification. Now what this is the license you have, your home nursing But for example, NNCN, when in regards to my home country, Nigeria, would have to verify to whichever country you're applying to. In this instance, the UK, we have to verify to NMC UK that yes, this person actually is registered with us, licensed by us, and is fit to practice. So this process of verification is its own details. So how do you go about starting this? First of all, you go on the NMC UK website online. Just type NMC UK website and it pops up. You go there, you can create an account for yourself to join the register as an international nurse. There is a platform for that. I'll try to find it and stick it to the video, but just it's easy peasy. As long as you have your license, you go there, you follow the process. It's just to follow the prompts. What do you need for your verification? You need, if you completed your nursing, if you got your nursing license from a university, so you'll be needing your nursing degree, you'll be needing your nursing license, you'll be needing your notification letter. You'll be needing your notification letter from the nursing license board. What do I mean by notification letter? So when you qualify to become a nurse, there is a letter sent out to you saying, oh, you've passed this exam, you've qualified, and this is to notify you that you are now, you know, welcome to however it's put in your own country. So that's all. It could be called a nursing certificate, whatever it is that shows that you are duly registered in your country of residence and practice. So you've got your license, you've you know completed the verification. The next step is you have to be talking about sitting for your IELTS exams. Everyone knows what that is. That is an English test examination that is required by many Western countries if you're going to be practicing as a professional. So in regards UK, there are different types of IELTS exams. So this exam is popularly called IELTS. Even though I prefer to call it IELTS to avoid confusion, but it's widely called IELTS. So we are talking about the academic version. So there are two different versions. There are more than two versions actually. So there is academic IELTS, there is general, there are different versions for different things. But if you're looking to join the NMC UK register, you would need an academic version of the IELTS examinations. So you would need to have at least a 7.0 across board. That is, you need to have 7.0 speaking, 7.0 listening, 7.0 reading, and at least 6.5 writing, and you also need to have at least 7.0 overall score. There are some kind of adjustments in which some kind of results can be combined. Because this changes very much, I wouldn't be giving out that information here. I would encourage you to go to NMC UK portal and see if you would find information on combining results for IELTS, or drop your question in the comment below and I will make research about it at the moment you're asking and give you a good verified information according to what is, you know, obtainable at that particular moment, because people can be watching this video a year later. I don't want to be giving information that you would not be needing or would not be correct. So if you've got your IELTS, you've got your band scores that you need, then the next thing we'll be needing is a CBT. So when you've completed your verification with NMC UK, they're going to be sending you out invitation to test competence. They'll be sending you a letter saying, congratulations, you're welcome to complete the test of competence, which is in two parts. The first part is the CBT examinations, which is a theory examination you complete online, and the second part, which is OSCE, which you complete practically and which can only be completed physically in the UK. So when you receive this email that you can now go ahead and complete this test of competence, the ideal thing to do is, because you can write the CBT from wherever you are in your home country, the ideal thing is to complete that examination first, because that is the easiest accessible to you. So when you've got your license, you've completed your verification, you've got your IELTS, the required band score, you've passed your CBT exam, you are the ideal candidate for self-sponsorship pathway to becoming a UK registered nurse. So, after you've got these examinations positively concluded, the next thing we are gonna be talking about is booking your OSCE. So usually, like I said before, employers would, sponsor you to write these examinations, and then you will come into the country and they would prepare you and you would write these exams. But recently, a lot have changed. The budget of the country has been tweaked in different places, and a lot of things has been cut down, especially in the NHS. So if in as much as nursing is still heavily short-staffed, money is required to complete this recruitment, and it seems as that is what is not exactly readily available. So to make yourself a better candidate, or a more employable candidate, if you have the means, completing this OSCE yourself puts you on top of the ladder, because then you have your PIN and you can be directly employed, and that is what we all are looking for. So how do you book this OSCE? I'm going to be taking a whole page to talk about the OSCE exam, so we'll get to that. So after you've booked your OSCE, the next step in the process is the visa application. I'm going to be talking about these two. What do you need about the visa applications and things like that. So first of all, let's talk about OSCE. So what is OSCE? OSCE is an acronym that stands for, is it an acronym? Is actually a short form of, the meaning is Objective Structural Clinical Examination. So back in my home country, we take OSCEs too. It's just a practical examination, usually used in medical fields to test the practical knowledge of the students. So when it comes to United Kingdom, becoming a registered nurse in the United Kingdom, there are 10 stations to the OSCE exams. So now these 10 stations consist of 5 clinical skills sections. So 5 of these stations are going to be testing your clinical skills. Now this could be in different things. It could be in administration of intravenous, or it could be in administering intramuscular medication. It could be in like kind of IV flush, like flushing an IV line. It could be there are just loads and loads of skills that you can be, nursing skills that you can be tested on. So 5 of them, there are lots of skills, so everyone gets 5 random skills to be tested on, and then you get 3 stations that are centered around assessment, implementation, and evaluation of your nursing skills. So you're going to be assessing the patient, implementing care, and evaluating your care. And then there are 2 stations that have been recently added, not really too recent, because I also had these stations, but it wasn't there like years and years ago. These 2 new stations are stations that test like your professional judgment, your values, your behavior, and evidence-based practice. So they are just going to be giving you like scenarios, and then you're going to be making judgments, and what is being tested is, are you maintaining evidence-based practice? Why are you doing what you're doing? What is the value? What are your behaviors, and are you maintaining evidence-based practice? So yeah, that makes up the 10 stations you're gonna be sitting in the OSCE. So when it comes to OSCE, there are 5 institutions that are providing OSCE in the United Kingdom as at the time of this video. Number 1 is Oxford Brookes University. Number 2 is University of Northampton. Number 3 is Ulster University. Number 4 is Northumbria University, and the final one is Leeds Teaching Hospital NHS Trust. So those 5 institutions are the only places you can write and sit for your OSCE exams in the whole of the UK as at the time of this video. Now, these institutions are in different places, different locations. They are like evenly spread around the whole country. We have one of them in Northern Ireland and the rest of them in England. Now, even though the rest of them are in England, they are still a kind of a bit evenly spread. So if you're in London, you would be tilting towards Oxford. If you're in the northeast, of course, Northumbria. If you're Midlands, you've got Leeds there. If you're in just like that, it's just a bit evenly spread out. So I'm just gonna be dropping this point. When it comes to self-sponsorship, you want to really know where you are staying. Where is your accommodation? Do you have someone sponsoring you in the UK? You want to know the location of this person so that you can book a center that is accessible to you. That's just a tip I just wanted to drop by. Okay, we've talked about what is the OSCE exams, what is it made up of, what are the institutions providing these examinations. Let's talk about how do we book the OSCE exams. First of all, you make sure you have all your requirements. So you make sure that you've gotten everything put together. You've been verified, your license have been verified, you've passed your IELTS with the required band score, you have your CBT, you've passed your CBT and they are still valid, and then you go ahead to register for your OSCE exams. Now, after you've figured out where you're staying, for this self-sponsorship, when you figured out your accommodation and everything like that, the next thing is booking a center close to you. So you must have received, first thing to know when it comes to booking OSCE is that you must have received confirmation from the NMC that you can go ahead and sit this exam. I've spoken about this before. Second thing is that you would be provided with the number that you would use to register this exam in your own personal email. That is your personal number. You shouldn't share it. Be careful with it, because that's what you would use to register for your OSCE exams. And then you could register for this exam directly on the website of any of these providers that I have listed. These 5 institutions that I've already listed, you can go directly to their website and register for these OSCE exams, or you can call them on the phone and they will direct you on what to do. You can even email them and they will direct you on what to do. It is not a complicated process at all, So, how much does OSCE cost? So, at the time of this video, OSCE costs £794 for a fresh sitting for all the 10 stations, and it costs £397 to receive 7 or fewer stations. So if you're considering self-sponsorship, the cost of OSCE is £794. That's as of today that I'm making this video, and this is the January this is January of 2025. So as of today, this is the cost of OSCE. So I've told you about what this exam is made of, the different parts of this exam. I've told you where you can write this exam. I've told you what you need to be able to book on this exam, and I've told you the costs. Now, I also want to say this. For these OSCE exams, you have 3 maximum attempts. So you have to pass OSCE within these 3 attempts. If you don't, you would have to reapply again after a while you will have to wait for a particular number of months. I think 6 months. I am not really too sure about that, but just know that you have a maximum of 3 attempts to pass OSCE examination. So this is why I always say, if you're going to involve yourself in self-sponsorship pathway, do not just say, oh, I'm just coming to write exams. Make sure that as you're spending money to come and write this exam, make sure that you are investing time, investing resources into preparing for the exam itself. So let's talk about a forecast of the possible cost of self-sponsorship. Now, how much it will cost you to self-sponsor yourself to come to the United Kingdom to sit for your OSCE examinations depends on a lot of things. Now, the first thing is going to be, do you have friends that can accommodate you? Because accommodation is something that usually costs the bulk of the money when it comes to self-sponsorship. So someone that has friends or family that's going to accommodate them in the United Kingdom is definitely not going to spend as much as someone that doesn't. So your circumstances will determine how much self-sponsorship will cost you. A lot of things will determine how much self-sponsorship will cost you. So I cannot say it's £1 or it's £2 or it's £3. It depends on your circumstances. What I'm going to do is to say all the processes and say the possible range of amounts that these processes can cost, and then based on your circumstances you look at these costs, know the ones that are eliminated for you because you can sort them out, and know the ones that you're going to have to spend on. So like I said, IELTS, yes, if you have already passed and written this exam, that cost is not for you anymore. You can just Google how much IELTS is in your country, because this varies in different regions, and there are different providers. There is British Council and there is IDP. These are the two I know. I don't know if there is any other provider. So just ask Google how much is IELTS in your region and you will find the price. And then there is the CBT exams. So let's get right into the actual cost. OSCE itself, I've already said, this costs £794. Everybody going through self-sponsorship has to pay this £794 as of today. Now the visa fee, because you're coming to the UK to write this examination, you need a standard visitor's visa. So you're allowed to sit this examination under the standard visitor visa route. So this is a 6 months maximum stay visa that allows you complete certain activities like visiting family and friends, completing a short course and other things like that. But you cannot work on this visa. I have to tell you this: coming to the United Kingdom to complete OSCE exams does not mean you would automatically complete the exams, get a job, and then start working. No, it doesn't happen like that. So you can actually complete your examinations, attend interviews, but you would have to go home when you've gotten a job offer, and you cannot stay more than 6 months. You would have to go home before your visa expires and then apply for a health and care visa with the certificate of sponsorship that your employer has issued you. So the benefit is for you to write your exams, get your PIN, and then, as I always advise, attend interviews and get a job offer. You cannot just come on that visit visa and then stay through. You have to still go back to your home country, apply for a proper work visa with the certificate of sponsorship that the employer that you've gotten by attending interviews has given you. So what I usually say is prepare for your examinations very, very well, so that and don't come way too much of a time before your exams. Come just a week to your exams, go straight, write your exams, pass your exams, start applications. Try as much as possible to attend lots of interviews with the time that is still proper in your visa time. Get an offer, and then that is your dream. That is what you should have as your goal when you're coming to the United Kingdom on the self-sponsorship pathway: to write your exams and pass it, attend as many interviews as possible and get a job offer, then you've achieved your goal. Then you go home with that job offer with a COS and apply for a work visa. So the visa itself would cost you £115. That is the cost for a standard visit visa. So OSCE 794, visa 115. These are two expenses that everyone would have to pay. Then flights, depending on where you're flying from, different countries have different flight prices. It ranges anywhere between 500 to 1,000 return tickets. That's going and coming. So it depends on the airline, depends on time you're booking, it depends on your country that you're coming from, it depends on the dates, the time of the year. A lot of things affect flight prices, so you can always find flight prices on Google, but give or take between 500 to 1,000 pounds going and coming. I mean, return tickets from and back to your country, because you must have a return ticket to be allowed entry into the UK on a standard visit visa. It is a requirement because you are visiting, you should be going back, so you must have a return ticket. The next thing is accommodation. Like I said, if you have someone that can accommodate you in the United Kingdom, then you would not be needing any money. All you would be needing is that this person would have to write an invitation letter stating that they are going to be sponsoring your accommodation, and if they are also sponsoring, like if they are also going to be feeding you, they have to state that they are sponsoring you when it comes to accommodation and feeding. If you have an invitation letter from a friend or a family that says they are sponsoring you for accommodation and feeding, then 50% of your financial needs for self-sponsorship is already dealt with, because that is where the bulk of the expenses goes into. But if you do not have anyone in the United Kingdom, then you are looking at anything between £200 and only God knows how much, depending on location, how many days you're staying, where it is, a lot of factors. I cannot give a quote for accommodation, because how long are you staying, what region are you staying in, is it a hotel, is it an Airbnb, is it this, are going different factors that would play in determining how much the accommodation would cost. So if you have any questions around this, ask in the comment section and I will try my best to direct you on that. Then the next thing is logistics. So when you're applying for your visa, you have to state all these things, how much, your budget for them, and you must prove in your bank statement that you have sufficient funds to cover for all this. So when it comes to logistics, what do I mean? When you arrive at the airport, you need a car to get to where you're going, or a train. If you're going to take an exam, you will need to enter a bus or a taxi or a train, or even fly to where your exam center is. You need to have provision for the money for this transportation. If you're going to be going around, maybe to see anywhere after your exams, you need to have money for that. So when it comes to logistics, you have to depend where you are. Is the person going to drive you around? Then the person has to include it that they are sponsoring your accommodation, your feeding, and your logistics. And when someone is sponsoring you to get a UK visit visa, they have to include their pay slips and their bank statements with that invitation letter showing that, okay, I have the capacity to sponsor this person. I am inviting them and I am willing to invite them, and this person must be a legal resident of the United Kingdom. So like I said, all this put together would determine how much you need to prove on your bank statement that you have, depending on who your sponsors are. So you can have as many sponsors as you like, but the tricky thing is the more sponsors you include, the more evidences you need. So I usually advise, if you have family or friends in the United Kingdom, let them sponsor your accommodation, your feeding, and your logistics by just stating that in the invitation letter and issuing you a backup. That's their pay slips and their bank statement as your supporting documents. And then all you need to do is to show a proof that you've booked your OSCE exams and you've paid for visa fees. All you need to show is your flight fee and a little bit whatever remaining in the account just for miscellaneous. But if you don't have accommodation, if you don't have feeding and logistics sorted, then you're gonna need way more money to be in your account. So based on the ranges of the prices I've given you, how much things cost, you would know which one that you have and the one that you do not have that you would need. Then that would determine how much you would be looking at to have in your account as proof that you can afford to come to the UK, write the OSCE exams, and you would not be violating any rules. So if you do not have, if your circumstances does not match your income, your visa is going to be denied even if you booked your OSCE. So booking your OSCE, it doesn't automatically guarantee that you're going to get a visa. You still have to make sure that your finances, your circumstances, and everything that you need to meet for a usual UK visa, standard visa, you must meet all the requirements even though you've booked your OSCE. Booking your OSCE is a plus, but it's not the only requirement. I've already said the things that you need to put in place, and if you follow this properly, you will be on your way to success. So the total cost, like I said, depends on personal circumstances. So it can be from anywhere around 1,000 to 1,500 or more if you do not have anybody in the UK at all to accommodate you. But even though this looks like it's very expensive, £1,000, 1,500, 2,000, whatever the case may be, it is still very, very, very affordable compared to the cost of schooling in the UK, the cost of doing postgraduate degrees in the UK. So some of my colleagues have chatted me up and like, oh Precious, there are no jobs, no one is recruiting internationally anymore, should we come to the UK and do a master's? And my response to you is, if you're already a registered nurse and you have the money that can do, because for you to be talking of masters in the UK, we are talking about £11,000 and above. So if you have £11,000 and above, prepare yourself for, and you are a registered nurse, you have everything, prepare yourself and do the self-sponsorship. Some people say, I know people that have done this and they did not get jobs and they are back to their home country. You have your pin, you're a UK registered nurse. If you sit down and make applications, you would get a job. And there are peculiar circumstances where something maybe delays someone's PIN. But if you follow this video like systematically, as I've said, and make sure you have everything already put together before arriving the UK, you wouldn't be in that circumstance. If you are proactive, like I said, don't go to the UK 2 months before your exam. Arrive just a week, go sit for your exam. Once you are successful, attend interviews, make applications. Some people make applications, like 10 applications, and they're like, oh my God, I'm not getting any jobs. You say 10 when, and there was still like loads of recruitment going on. I had over 500 applications sitting in my track jobs, and then I got some offers from there. So if then that there was no much pressure and competition, I had to make 500 applications, then you should be up and going, making good and standard applications for yourself. So just that you're coming to do self-sponsorship doesn't mean you will not put in the work to make good applications. So what I would usually advise is, if you're coming to write your OSCE in February, as of January, you should have at least 500 applications sitting, good applications in your account, and make sure you include in your supporting statement that you've concluded everything and you're sitting for your OSCE exams in the next month. And then immediately you have passed and gotten your PIN, you should make at least another 200 applications. Now as a United Kingdom registered nurse. So remember, before you wrote your OSCE, you were applying as a pre-registration nurse, but once you get your PIN, you must adjust your supporting information and say you are now a registered nurse. That gives you more leverage, and there is no way you have a good supporting information, have all your documents put together, have gotten your PIN in the first month of arriving, and in the remaining 5 months before your visa expires, you will not get interviews and a job offer. That is not possible. The only reason that you would be able to spend 3 to 6 months in the UK and don't go home with a job offer is documentation issues that delays your PIN, or you are not being proactive to make applications for your job. So if there are no challenges with your PIN and you're being proactive to apply, you would definitely get a job. I've assisted a lot of people in using the self-sponsorship pathway, and I can say I am very, very sure that this pathway is efficient and is useful for you as a registered nurse hoping and aspiring to become a United Kingdom registered nurse. I wish you like all the best on your journey, and let's talk about visa application when it comes to this self-sponsorship pathway as we are discussing. So I'm just going to be sharing like few documents that you would be needing depending on your circumstances when it comes to applying for your visa on your way to self-sponsorship. So you definitely need your passport documents. You definitely need of course, your passport document needs to be valid and needs to have at least 6 months validity on it. Yes, at least 6 months validity on your passport documents on your time of applying for this visa. And then, because you're coming for to write this OSCE, you need to show proof that you actually qualify to write this exam. So things like your IELTS results can serve, your CBT results to show that okay, you've passed these stages of the registration process and you just need to write the final qualifying exams. And then you definitely need to have already booked your OSCE exam, because that is the most concrete proof that you're actually coming to the UK to write the OSCE examination. So I've said your passport, your IELTS exam results, your CBT results if you have it, or the email that invited you to write your CBT and your OSCE, then your OSCE booking proof, you know, saying the center and the date of your examination. That is your strongest like proof to say, oh, this is what I'm coming to the UK to do. So when you're applying for a UK standard visitors visa, you need to say what you're coming to the UK to do. It have to be a genuine reason. You need to be able to prove that you can afford it. You need to be able to prove that you would go back, and you need to be able to prove that you will abide by all the laws while you are in the UK. So to prove what you're coming to do, I've said the documentation that you would be needing. Then to prove that you can afford it, you are going to need to provide evidence of the sponsorship details of this examination. Now, are you sponsoring yourself? Then you would need to provide your bank statements, your pay slips. Is someone else sponsoring you financially? They need to provide their bank statements, their pay slip. Do you have a family or friend inviting you over from the UK? They need to provide you an invite and their pay slips and bank statements. So your circumstances, who is sponsoring you, determines what you would be submitting as this evidence. But make sure that your evidence includes your accommodation sponsorship, logistics sponsorship, feeding sponsorship, flight tickets, and miscellaneous. So don't leave anyone untouched. Make sure that you have this all covered in your evidence that you're submitting for sponsorship information to prove that you can afford this journey that you want to make. Yeah. So technically, some people would go ahead and book flight, but UKVI usually do not advise booking a flight before applying for visa. What they want to see is that you can afford the flight. So instead of booking the flight, just leave the money in your account and specify that part of this money in this account that I'm showing you is for my flight, is for this. Just make sure that everything you need, the money in your account can sort it out. or the money in the account of whoever is sponsoring, you to take these exams. So, like I said, bank statements or payslip from your sponsor. If someone is inviting you to their home, that someone is accommodating you to the UK, they need to give you an invitation letter and proof of sufficient funds to support your travel. This is very important. Everything that you need to spend, you need a proof that you can afford them. So pay attention to that. It is very, very, very important. So next thing is accommodation proof. So someone is actually saying they are going to accommodate you. Yeah, that's a very good thing. They've sent you an invitation. Yes, that's also awesome. They need to send proof of their accommodation. This could be a bill, this could be their bank statement showing their address, this could be any approved government documentation that is approved for being used as a means of proving of address in the UK. It could be a lot of things. Registration to vote. There are lots of documents that in the UK can be used to prove address. So this person, because in your application you are going to be saying where you are arriving at, so if this person is sponsoring you by accommodating you, they have to give you a proof that they actually live in this address that they are inviting you. It can be their tenancy agreement. There are loads and loads of documents they can issue you for a proof that they are accommodating you, but you need to put it. Now, if nobody is accommodating you in the UK and you're booking an Airbnb or you're booking a hotel or anything, you must put in an evidence that you've booked a hotel or you've booked an Airbnb. Mind you, UKVI is going to verify this information. They will call the hotel and make sure that you actually have this booking. So be careful not to use any kind of false information. So if you're booking accommodation by yourself, make sure that you're booking the right place in the right city, and make sure that you can even contact them and ask them to give you an email confirming that you have booked so and so stay with them for this period of time for the purpose of your examination. Whatever to do to make a substantial evidence that you have a place to stay, because accommodation is one major point of consideration for approving your visa. If you don't have where you're landing, nobody is giving you a visa. That is a simple truth. Even though you are coming to write OSCE, doesn't mean that you will just arrive at Heathrow. You have to have a place that you are heading to. So you also need proof of return. Now, the first proof, now while you are doing your visa application, you need to be able to prove that you are going back to your home country, because that is a major rule for standard visit visa application. Now, one way to prove this is that you have a good job back home, that you are sponsoring yourself to further your career, but you have a job to go back to. You're a registered nurse, of course, so you're working, so your job is a good proof. Family, if you have children, you have to, if you're married, put your marriage certificate, putting your family kind of pictures, your job letter, like if you're working, then of course you must have taken a leave from work to be able to complete this exam. So a leave letter, then just evidence that you have something you are returning to. If you have things like landed property, things like that, you can also go on gov.uk and see recommended documents that you can use to prove that you're returning. You just need a legit reason, like a legitimate information, a legitimate reason to prove that, oh, in as much as I am coming to the UK to write these exams, I have something tangible I'm doing back home to go back to. So that is what I mean by proof of return. So you have to show evidence of what you are going back home to. So it could be family, it could be job, it could be properties, it could be anything that is applicable to you. And then of course you have to pay the visa fees. So yes, like I said, it's £115. You must pay this visa fee. There is no waiver. You're applying, as a visitor, except if you don't need a visa. Some countries do not require visas to visit the United Kingdom, so those ones are exempted. But if you require a visa, you have to pay the visa fees. So these are the things that I can remember off the top of my head, but different circumstances would require different application requirements and different documentation. There is no like cast on iron or cast on stone. It must be this, it must be that, because my circumstances is totally different from the next person, totally different from the next person, and we all need to prove different things based on our personal circumstances. So while making your visa application, don't just ask anybody and say, oh, I had you got your successful visa, what did you use? And then you just copy and paste. You're going to be in serious trouble because your circumstances is not the same with that person's circumstances. I would say this: if you have questions surrounding your visa application in regards self-sponsorship pathway to becoming a United Kingdom registered nurse, please put them in the comment section. I will do my best to answer. I will do my best to make sure that I make this, as clarified as possible. I don't know if I should split this video into like chapters so that it would be easier to understand. I will just try my best to make, this particular course that I'm putting out there. I'll try my best to communicate with you, keep in touch with you, and answer all the questions that you have. Just ask your questions in the comment section, and be very, very careful not to like fall into the hands of people that will say, oh, come, I will give you visas, I will do this, I will do this. Please, there is no individual that offers visas for you to enter the United Kingdom. This is solely the responsibility of UKVI, and you can only apply for these visas on the official gov.uk website. So be very careful, you don't fall into the hands of people that will mislead you and take your money away. If whatever information you want as regards to visas and immigration in the United Kingdom, your go-to website is gov.uk website. Any other questions, ask me in the comment section. If I have the answer, I would answer. If I don't have the answer, I would refer you to the appropriate place to get your answers. Before I close this video, I'm just going to be dropping some general tips from my experience in guiding, these people on their journey so far. Tip number one, make sure you understand the full detail of self-sponsorship. If you've watched this video and you've just been skipping through it, go back to the beginning, sit down, just take out this hour, listen to this free information that you're not paying for, and this 1 hour of active listening can save you a lot of stress and hassle. That is my first tip. Second thing I'm gonna say is prepare for your OSCE properly. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to be leaving a link in the comment sections in which you can use to attend OSCE classes. So there are group OSCE classes that we run, in which you can join others and prepare in a group. If you want a personal class, that's available. And also there is also a physical class where you can practice all your skill sessions and everything that's when you arrive the UK. So these different approaches have different costs attached. The links will be in the comment section. I mean, you can go on YouTube and watch and prepare for your OSCE if that works for you. But mind you, OSCE examinations are updated every single month. Like, if you're an OSCE teacher, you will agree with me that you must stay updated with the NMC upgrade every single month. A lot of things have been added and removed. So while watching YouTube videos, take care. Be very sure that you're watching a video of someone that is currently actively teaching OSCE and has the knowledge of all the updates that has been effected. Because watching a video from like 2019 or 2020 knowledge base is not gonna get you to pass, because a lot has changed. Someone that wrote OSCE last month can give you an information and you go this month and it's totally wrong. Yes, that is how, because based on evidence-based practice, based on researches and a lot of things, OSCE evolves. So if YouTube is what you want, is okay, go ahead and watch YouTube videos, which I recommend for a start, for you to just get general understanding of what OSCE is. But when you are paying money to do self-sponsorship, I mean, the cost of a class is not equated, it's not expensive. When you click the link, you would see it's not even up to 1% of what it's gonna cost you to, do self-sponsorship. So prepare for your examinations. Before you land the United Kingdom, make sure that you have a full understanding of what the exams is, what the possible questions is, what the stations are, and what you should do in each of them. So that even if you're booked onto our physical training, it will be your opportunity to practice, not your opportunity to learn, because you should just be practicing like a mock examination and being corrected if you make mistake. It's not a place for you, like the physical class is not a place for you to like learn everything, because it's not possible. So what I usually recommend is join the online class, get all the knowledge you need, understand everything you need to understand about OSCE, and if you can, do the physical class on your arrival just to brush things up. But if you're a fast learner and a quick learner, the online class might be just enough for you. But all the same, prepare very well for your OSCE examinations. Next tip, organize yourself. You need to know what you're doing. Make sure you have all your documents. Don't arrive, hit you, and say, oh my God, I don't have my license, I don't have this. That is the reason your pins are gonna be delayed. So you need to make sure that all your nursing documents from your whole country are properly filed. You have your international passport, you have your IELTS results, you have your CBT results, or the printouts of the email from NMC. You need to have your NMC UK login. You need to know what center you're writing your exam. You need to know where you are going to, whose house you're staying. You need to know which city you are going to, so that when you get to the border and the immigration officer asks you, what are you coming to do, and you say you're coming for an exam, and he asks you where, you don't say you don't know. You need to be organized. You need to be a professional. Excuse me. You need to be a professional. Put yourself together. Know what you're doing. Like, have information about the city you're writing your exam, about where you're going, who is accommodating you. Understand where you're going, understand what you're doing, and make sure you have all your complete documentation. This will save you time, this will save you money, this will save you hassle, and this should hasten your process, because if you have all your documentations, then it becomes easier to get your PIN as soon as possible after passing your examinations. Next tip is maximize the visa time. This, I cannot talk about this enough. Don't just say, oh, I'm coming to UK to write my OSCE, and you come, sit the exam, you probably pass, and then you party for the remaining 30 days and go home. You've just wasted your time successfully. Like I said, if your exam is on 1st of February, you have no business being in the UK 1st of January. No. Just come to the UK, maximize that 6 months. If you can afford staying the 6 months, if it's 3 months you're staying, maximize it. Come to the UK 2 weeks maximum to your exam. 2 weeks is too much. You can come to the UK just a weekend to your exam. Go straight to the exam hall, sit for your examinations, pass, and as you're waiting for your PIN, immediately you've received the news that you've passed, start attending interviews. Hey, attend as much interviews as you can, and make sure you are going with a job offer. That is the juice, that is the goal, that is the end point of self-sponsorship. That time is a long time for you to just come and write an exam and go back. You cannot start working on a visit visa, but nothing stops you from writing and making job applications and attending interviews. That is not an offense. You cannot work, but you can get a job. and then go back home to your country and then properly apply for your work visa. That should be your whole aim when you're looking towards the self-sponsorship pathway. That is my highest tip. That is my favorite tip. Maximize the visa time. And then understand your sponsorship. So when you're making your visa application, understand, how many sponsors do I have? Okay, is a friend or a family from the United Kingdom sponsoring my accommodation and my feeding? And then is my dad or my husband or my mom or any other family member sponsoring my flights, my visa and everything? That means you have 2 sponsors. So be very careful in your visa applications to, state who is sponsoring who, is sponsoring what rather. So this is my friend or this is my family member, stays in so place in United Kingdom. This is what they are sponsoring. This other person is a significant other in my life here back home, and this is what they are sponsoring. So understand your sponsorship, understand what you have, who is sponsoring who. That will give you a good understanding of how much you need and how to put your applications together so that it doesn't look confusing and complicated. Because if you don't understand your sponsorship yourself, nobody will. So even if you're the one funding this money to make this travel for your own self, you need to understand the details like I've explained through this video to be able to make the right call. And then do you need an invite? Like I've already said, if someone from the United Kingdom is accommodating you, they would have to invite you to their house, they would have to invite you to the United Kingdom because they are accommodating you. So if they are accommodating you, you have to be invited. It's very simple. They just have to, you can even go on Google and just type UK invitation letter sample. But if you really want a sample, you can ask in the comments and I will try my best to provide a sample for you. So with this few point of mine, I really hope that I've been able to break down these seemingly complicated routes of the self-sponsorship pathway to becoming a United Kingdom registered nurse. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. I will try my best to make sure I answer to everyone's question. And I wish you the very best. I remember when this was my goal. I remember when I was chasing it. I remember when I was preparing for my IELTS, my CBT, my everything. I felt so nervous and everything. But here am I today, some years down, gone into practice. I've been able to graduate from a general staff nurse into a nurse specialist in the area of nursing education, and I would say my career dream, I'm still growing and growing, but I'm very happy for the progress I've gotten so far. If I could do it, come like an international nurse, become a registered United Kingdom nurse, grow from a staff nurse into a nursing educator, then you can also do it. And I wish you all the very best on your journey. Just before I go away, I have lots of resources available for this pathway. So if you want to attend an IELTS class, I have you covered. If you want to attend a CBT class, an OSCE class, interview preparation class, if you want to make payments and bookings, if you are confused about accommodation, if you are confused about your supporting information and your visa application, there will be a link in the description box in which you can get the services at very affordable rates. Guidance on these services on very affordable rates, and I wish you the very best. I really am rooting for you. I can't wait to see you. If you watch this video and you are on this platform, I would love you to subscribe and stay connected to this channel so that when you become, I didn't say if, I said when you become successful, you can come back and say, Precious, thank you for this video. I have successfully completed my journey and I am here now practicing, and I will share in your joy. So thank you so much for sticking through with me till this time. If you have any questions, stick it in the comment section. Share this video. Do not hoard information. You have a class of 100 colleagues. Share this video to them. Let everyone I've put it out there for free. Share it, let everyone that you know needs it. If you have siblings, sisters, friends that are also in the nursing profession that you know they are looking into this pathway, share this knowledge with them. And as you go ahead on this journey of self-sponsorship, I wish you the very best. I wish you success, and I am looking forward to welcoming you to United Kingdom. Congratulations in advance, and bye-bye. Jeez.